Good morning Kasturians and welcome to video 2 of chapter 5 from civics, that is the police and the courts. In the previous video we saw the police, the hierarchy of the police and what is the meaning of an FIR. In today's video we will see the directives of the Supreme Court on FIR and the process of criminal justice. So let's start. As relating to the various complaints for FIR, the Supreme Court has laid down certain directives, and these directions include the filing of FIR as soon as the information about the offence is received. It also states that the concerned police officer has to draw the inferences from the facts mentioned by the informant in the FIR, and he has to decide whether the offence has been committed or not. Also, an FIR can be registered in a police station even if the scene of the crime does not fall in the jurisdiction of that particular police station, but it can be forwarded to the concerned police station as soon as possible. These three directives of Supreme Court on filing of FIR were given on the basis of various complaints received by the people. Now we will see the process of criminal justice. See, courts are there to protect the laws and to maintain the order in accordance with the working of the police and in accordance with the evidences produced by the police. The courts decide and start the process of justice. The courts, they cannot act on their own. If a victim appeals before the court, then the courts start acting. Then the case, whether it is a civil case or a criminal case, like the matters related to family dispute, family feud and property, they are considered as a civil case, and in this the involved parties, they approach the court and the matter is settled down in the court. However, for criminal cases the procedure is different. In the criminal cases, first the aggrieved or the person with whom the crime has been done, he files an FIR, and after the FIR is filed, the investigation begins and the police starts examining the crime scene. He starts questioning the witnesses, he records the statements and collects the evidences. Also, the suspects are interrogated and if required, they are arrested. After the investigation is done, the police finds sufficient evidences against the accused. The accused are arrested and the police files a charge sheet in the magistrate's court. The trial of the accused begins once the charge sheet has been filed, and the accused is also given the opportunity to defend himself. A lawyer of his or her choice can be hired by the accused for defending the case, and that lawyer is known as the defense lawyer. Also, the complainant's case is presented by the lawyer and that is called the public prosecutor. Also, it is to be noted that until the accused is proven guilty in the court, he is considered innocent, and once the accused is found guilty, the punishment according to the crime committed is awarded by the court, and the quantum of punishment, it depends upon the nature and severity of the crime committed. Now we were discussing about the defense lawyer, that is a person who defends the case of the accused is known as defense lawyer. He is appointed by the accused who presents the case on behalf of the accused. Also, he can cross-examine the witnesses and ask the court to summon witnesses to prove that the accused is not guilty. Also, it is to be noted that an accused is given full opportunity to defend himself through a fair trial. It is only after hearing both sides involved in the case the judge passes an impartial judgment, and if the accused is found guilty, punishes him or her. In case of defense lawyer, he or she is appointed by the accused to present the case on his or her behalf, but the public prosecutor is appointed by the state and he presents the case of the complainant. He presents all the facts, evidences and witnesses related with the crime before the court and tries to prove the accused to be guilty of committing the crime. That's all we have in this video. Thank you and have a nice day.